Welcome back, everyone, to another Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here today because, well, we're tackling something that really sits at the very heart of how we connect, how we persuade, and ultimately, how we lead. If you're someone who just loves to learn efficiently, someone who wants to cut right through the noise and get straight to the structural truth of a concept, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into what I like to call the ultimate communication paradox. It's a paradox that trips up experts, leaders, and even the most well-meaning communicators literally every single day. We're calling today's explainer the Resonance of Sincerity. So grab your focus, because this is absolutely going to change the way you deliver your next pitch, your next presentation, or honestly, even just a passionate conversation. Let's get right into it.
People care when you care. I mean, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But make no mistake, this is the unbreakable rule of human connection. You can have the absolute most watertight argument, the most meticulously researched data, the most eloquent delivery. But if the audience looking back at you doesn't sense a genuine pulse behind your words, yeah, you've already lost them. This is the core premise we're deconstructing today, and it's not just a polite suggestion, it's a fundamental psychological baseline. We are hardwired to detect authenticity, and we inherently withhold our own investment until we clearly sense yours.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the core of sincerity.
Our source material lays out the order of operations just perfectly. People care when you care. People don't care how much you know until they feel and believe how much you care for the cause. I really want you to take a second and meditate on the profound simplicity of that. There is a very specific sequence happening in this quote. It is absolutely not telling you to abandon your knowledge. Rather, it's giving you the exact prerequisite required to unlock an audience's willingness to even listen to that knowledge. The real tragedy of modern communication is that we spend 99% of our time perfecting what we know and almost zero time proving how much we care.
And that sets up a pretty fascinating conflict. Let's look at Section 2, knowledge versus care.
We've got a really stark contrast going on here. On one hand, you have how much you know, so your intellect, your data, your credentials. And on the other hand, you have how much you care, your emotion, and your absolute sincerity. The fallacy we all fall into is leading with our intellect. Actually, scratch that. It's more like we hide behind our intellect. We walk into a pitch, spew out 30 pages of spreadsheet data, and just expect people to be inspired. But leading with expertise while leaving out the emotional investment, it's literally like trying to start a car with no fuel. The engine might be brilliantly engineered, but it's simply not going to move.
So, how do we actually fuel that engine? Let's move into our final section. Section 3, sparking true belief.
To get moving, we have to cross what we can call the threshold of resonance. This is that critical turning point where an audience shifts from just passively acknowledging your facts to actively feeling and believing your sincerity for a cause. Notice those words, feel and believe. I want to deconstruct that specific phrase for a second. The source material doesn't say until they understand you care. No, it says until they feel and believe it. Understanding is logical, right? But feeling and believing, those are visceral. This right here is the required catalyst. If you don't cross this specific threshold, your audience remains entirely apathetic to your data. They might not politely, sure, but you haven't sparked true belief. Getting across that threshold requires a clear three-step journey for your audience. Step 1, they feel you care. This is the initial emotional hit. It's your tone, your body language, your raw passion. Step 2, they believe you care. This is where that sincerity gets validated. Is your passion consistent? Is it authentic? Do your actions actually align with your emotion? And only then do we finally reach step 3. They care about the cause. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that you cannot skip straight to step 3. There's just no way. You have to walk them over that bridge of feeling and believing first. It brilliantly turns a philosophical quote into a clear, actionable transformation for your everyday life.
Which brings us to the ultimate question. I want to turn the mirror back on you right now. Think about the very last time you tried to persuade someone, or maybe lead a team, or just advocate for something important to you. Ask yourself, do they actually feel how much you care? It's a pretty provocative thought, isn't it? If your message isn't landing, the problem usually isn't that your audience lacks the intellect to understand your facts. The problem is they just haven't felt your sincerity. I want to leave you to reflect on that. Are you leading with knowledge, or are you leading with care? Because once you master the art of proving your genuine investment first, well, everything else, all your knowledge, your expertise, your brilliant data, finally finds an audience ready to listen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.